thoughts about this year's Congress, and thank you for your comments and suggestions. And do you remember our opening session on Monday? Do you remember the group of young people who were here playing, singing, and dancing for us? Yeah? Good. So they are back, but not the same youth. This is another group, but they belong to the same project. So we will take part of their show now. I hope you will enjoy. Thank you. If you go to the other side. If you go to the other side.
Journey around the world to discover music and dance. We shall show you.
Para bailar la bamba, se necesita una boca de gracia pa' mi patria y arriba, por ti seré. Jag våndas, jag njuter och säljer min möda på månglarnas torg. Jag spelar för livet och glömmer bort döden, för vid horisonten syns inget ljus. Jag spelar för livet och litar på tiden som alltid har växt till nästan nu.
Jag spelar för livet. 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 Jag spelar för livet.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wow, they really loved you.
Thank you. Thank you.
It was amazing. Please, this is Penny Petros, by the way. Give him an applause and the rest, please. Penny, please tell us, what did you think of when you created this amazing show?
The funny part is that when they took a Swedish group with the dancing group and they told us to do a cultureful show, and it was really hard for us to find a greatness in it. So we just start to repeat, and then we got it. So this was our act. Yeah.
Really good. And please, could you tell us how it works with the Culture Summer Workers? Because
I didn't hear you there.
you know, they get 1 week to practice.
Yeah, exactly. We get 1 week
Yeah.
to practice the whole act or to find the act. Then we show it up for people who is what do you call it? Turistad?
Tourists.
Yeah, exactly. And people of Gothenburg. And you, of course. Yeah, obviously.
Thank you, Penny. So 1 week practice for this amazing show. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, are you curious about where the next Congress will be? Yes. So, I will once again welcome Mario Salomone, the Secretary General of the WEEC Permanent Secretariat, up on the stage. He will present the next organizer. Thank you.
Dear participants, during these days, we heard the speech. Dear participants, during these days we heard speeches, presentation, debates. We talk a lot to each other. As a panelist, many participants have also underlined that we experience the crucial importance of regular continuous keeping in touch to improve relationship and to update our information on the policies international at national level. In other words, We experienced the importance on the WEEC meetings and offer the worldwide network of actors, public, private, non-profit, profit. The Congress has certainly been a success, and I have to congratulate with all local organizers for high quality of the content and for the efficient and effective organization. I warmly thank the city of Gothenburg, the Gothenburg, the Chalmers universities, the GMV Center for Environment and Sustainability, and the MCI companies. Also on behalf of all participants and all the worldwide environmental education community. Many thanks also to the staff, the volunteers for their professional commitment, the kind collaboration. The Congress has also been fruitful in promoting initiative. A lot of dynamics moving towards thematic committees were born as finance education, many others. In particular, I'm very glad to announce that Ibero-American Women for Environment Network, integrated by women from all over the world, became a women international network inside the World Environmental Education community. I think this is a historical step in our path. I'm very glad. These facts show that we are growing, and this Congress, as the previous one in Marrakesh, Morocco, and the Marrakesh Declaration, has been very important, and it is necessary to go on working between the Congress and the following. It means to be the network able to face the world changes. Any day we have to defend the earth, the commons, the people and other living species combined in the biodiversity. Research can help to move towards action. Common campaign can help. Empowerment initiative can help. Tools developed together can help. And strongest partnership can help. So I remind you the importance of joining and of supporting the WEEC network. I invite the new countries, I invite the new institutions, I invite civil society organizations to join the World Environmental Education Network. I encourage you to use the website and the WEEC newsletter for spreading proposal and news. I remind that the call for bid for the 10th Congress in 2019 is open. I remind also the European participants the third Pan-European Days of Environmental Education in Barcelona on 1st and 2nd October. And now, chers amis, queridos amigos y queridas amigas, dear friends coming here from all over the world, it is for me a great pleasure, a great honor to invite the organizer of the 9th Congress in 2017 to present the hosting city and the institution organize the next Congress. The organizing body is the IEL, Institute for Environmental Learning at Simon Fraser University, Canada. The hosting city will be Vancouver, Canada. Thank you. I'm sure that the 9th World Environmental Congress will be an extraordinary and beautiful Congress. The first WEEC, our new deal of the network. Many wishes for me and from all of us. Now I will give the ground on our friends. I welcome Victor. Please.
On behalf of Canada and on behalf of Vancouver, I do have to mention one little thing. I would also like to thank the Swedes for producing the Sedin twins that spend a lot of time entertaining us in our hockey rink in Vancouver on a regular basis. But I'm really here to thank the organizers of this year's World Environmental Congress here in Gothenburg. And thank you very much for a wonderful conference, exceptional conversations. And we hope in Vancouver you will be inspired as well. In Vancouver, we also think it is very important to talk about the First Nations of Canada. And on behalf of the organizing committee, which is part of the Institute of Environmental Education, a conglomerate of many NGOs and also universities of our area. First of all, I'd welcome you, and hopefully the excitement from here will extend to Vancouver in 2017. But also welcome you to the unceded territories of the Salish-speaking people. These are the people of the Tsleil-Waututh, Squamish, and also Musqueam nations that will be the host also for the conference. So without any further ado, I will present some images of our city through video and then follow up with some details that you may be interested in. Thank you. So now for some of those details. We are obviously very excited to host the international conventions and conferences, especially ones around the environment. I'd also like to say that we've had lots of experience in Vancouver with hosting large international events, both environmental and sustainable, but also events like the 2010 Olympics. And we're really looking forward to hosting you when you come to Vancouver. And we'd like to see you all there. As you know, there's been a fairly large number of Canadians that have attended this meeting and also other World Environmental Education Congresses, and we will look forward to hosting you in 2017. Some of the things that we have been doing in the city indicate that we are one of the internationally known centers for holding conferences and seminars. And our decision about hosting the meetings in the downtown core will provide a lot of special opportunities. It is also a group of people, already a partnership, that has made it possible for us to put forward our bid to host the conference or Congress. And it's a good partnership. As I've said, I'm a representative from the Environmental Learning Institute, which is designated as an RCE from the UN University. But we have many partners that have already come to the table, both non-governmental from the K-12 education sector as well as the universities. Vancouver is a city which is very vibrant. Many of our population live in the downtown core. And so that it means that when you come, you will be able to get a sense of that place where people live. And you will get a sense of what it might be like to be a Vancouverite, which I have had the luxury of being all of my life. It also means that dining and shopping and places that make it convenient for you to hold your meeting in this place will be there to host you. The Vancouver airport itself is a very welcoming place and indicates the importance to us about Indigenous and First Nations culture. You'll be welcomed to one of the best airports in North America with easy access to Vancouver. One of the legacies of the 2010 Olympics has been an excellent public transportation system that takes you directly from the airport right to the center of the city where the meetings will be held. There are daily direct flights from many international locations, and we hope in particular that this will encourage the people that live around the Pacific Rim to come to Vancouver, as well as people from Asia and South Asia who have many connections with the multicultural aspects of Vancouver. Some of the special things that Vancouver in particular, as other cities in the world, have been working on are our aspects of sustainability. One of the things that we pride ourselves at being is thinking and trying to envision what that positive future might be. We heard from the youth at this meeting, but also from others, that it's important to engage people in what a sense of hope might be. For somebody like myself that has lived their life in Vancouver, I think that one of the beautiful things about my city is that it gives me hope each day that I wake up. That effective transportation system, as I mentioned before, will be able to move people across the city, but the city is also a walking place and a biking place. The Vancouver Convention Centre, where some of the larger meetings will be held, has been booked for this time in September, which is often the weather, hopefully, like it has been here the last few days in Gothenburg. One of the things about that particular center, established once again next door to the Olympic Park, is to be a LEED certified center. And there are a variety of convention and also accommodation opportunities for people, such as the large hotel chains that you would expect, the Hyatt, Marriott, Fairmont, Westin, Sheraton, to mention a few. But there are also affordable options. And close to the convention center is a large park area. One of the things that Canada is noted for is its natural beauty. And within the city itself, there are many close parks, either within walking distance of the conference center or a short transport away. Many delegates may also be thinking about taking side trips. These side trips could include places like Whistler, which was one of the co-host areas for the Olympics, but also our capital city, which is in Victoria on Vancouver Island, approximately a 2-hour ferry ride. It's also possible while you're there to not only experience directly the First Nations people through places like the Museum of Anthropology, but also some of the large natural things. In September, it is quite often possible to see wild salmon runs. And in 2017, because it's an odd season year, pink salmon should be spawning in many of our local streams, which of course might give you an opportunity to see a bear. Now, some people may not like that, but there might be some people that will enjoy that. So on behalf of our organizing group from the Institute for Environmental Education and Learning, we would like to encourage you to come and not only encourage you, invite you to come to our city and experience another successful World Environmental Education Congress. And I understand from Mario that you can start to use the website, WEEC2017.org, because this site is now active. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you. So perhaps we will meet again in Vancouver in 2017. Unfortunately, this Congress is coming to an end, but we have something left for you. I hereby welcome Arjen Wals and Ingrid Pramling Samuelsson, co-chairs for this year's Congress. Thank you.
Well, it's not easy to reflect about this conference after the excellent panel who reflected about a lot of things, but we will do some small reflections. And for me, I have been thinking about what I have heard these last days is a number of notions which come back over and over again. One is motivation, intergenerational approaches, collaboration, children and youth perspectives and voices, empowerment, children and youth as agents. We have been very focused on different ages, and I don't know if everybody here is convinced that early childhood education is the most important part in life, but I'll give you some quote from a study we did in our organization, World Organization for Early Childhood Education, a couple of years ago. The teachers had interviewed the children about the globe, and then as example from two children, 5 and 6 years old, when the teacher asked, "What do you think sustainable development means?" One child said, "It means that everybody makes something for the globe." And another child says, "I think it might mean like to save the world for later." So what I'm trying to say is I think it's very important that we think about the intergenerational approaches. It's not a question of having youth or old people, it is a question of all. We all have to be engaged in this. And we had an intention in my organization a couple of years ago. It works better or worse, but we asked every country to bring with them some people under the age of 30. And for some countries it worked well, and for others it didn't. But looking at I have also been thinking of why is there no really conflict in these sessions we have been in, at least not in the one I have been in. And then it comes to my mind that maybe it's the same for you, that you go to the course you already are part of. You are a chorus of a certain thematic strand, and that's what you go to. So how could we be more interactive with different perspectives, with different people? And I'm thinking about our ombudsman for children in Sweden. A couple of years ago, she wrote to all the ministers in the government and asked them what they have done for children. And many of them were very surprised because they haven't even thought about that children have anything to do with their department. Well, it is a question also about how we think about pedagogy. And I think we have learned in this conference there are many learning spaces. And it could be in the city, it could be in the wilderness, it could be anywhere. And I still think we think too much about schooling as in the classroom, arranged in a certain way. And I want to I don't know if you have seen Professor Ken Robinson at the TED, when he is talking about, does schools kill creativity? And his answer is yes. And I think we have to be more creative and think about, it is another world today. We have to think in a new way. And although the conference has the environment education, I have not attended any presentation that did not bring up sustainability. And some people were talking about during one of the coffee breaks that what is happening with science contrasts sustainability. All the traditional subject is in a way opposite to sustainable development, where it has to do with cross-disciplinary questions. Well, I think that we all have to believe that in the future also this subject will change. They will not. Physics, geometry will not be what it was 50 years ago. It will be something else. And we have to think about that. There's another aspect which has come to my mind, and that is the discussion about cultural and global. And we very much talk about it has to be locally based, everything. And I think it has. But at the same time, I want to refer to a judge from Supreme Court in Fiji who was talking at a conference in Australia some years ago. And she said that if we think that we are so different everywhere in the world, then we don't need human rights. And I think it rings some bells. What is general and what is local? And I also think that this could be related to what Arjen was talking about the other day, about normativity. And I think many people think of norms and normativity as the opposite to science. But science is also normative in a way. They have decided what is science. There's a certain way to look at things. And that is one perspective of the world. But there are also others. And I want to finish by going back to the Nagoya conference, because there was a minister from Ghana, and she said something. We have to imagine that what it means to live in a sustainable society for being able to create it. So we all have to go back and think about the practice we work in, the society we work in. What is it we want, and how should we be able to go there, if it ever should happen?
Well, it has been a very intense week and very enjoyable, I must say, in a way because I could enjoy it myself. It was so well organized. And I'm not saying that because we did such a wonderful job as co-host. No, and I think that, there's lots of praise already been given. I'd like to see Rebecka. Why don't you come forward? Because I do want to, there was at one point I talked to somebody who said, there must be many Rebeckas. Who is Rebecka? And I said, well, there's only one Rebecka. And this is
That's
Rebecka.
Thank you.
So I just want to also, I think it was probably one of the best decisions we made early on to have Rebecka be behind this conference. And so thank you, and there will be more thanks later today. But what a joy to be in a conference that logistically was prepared so well that we as co-hosts could actually attend sessions and participate. That's quite unique. I've talked to some of the past chairs of other conferences. There are several here from South Africa, from Australia, and from the other WEEC conference in Canada. And they all told me it's going to, hopefully it will manage till the last day. But we have been quite relaxed, and that's just fantastic. Now, I had planned some thoughts, some I thought we should say something very meaningful at the end, but a lot of meaningful things have been said. And then, then Judy showed that cartoon with the snowman and the hairdryer. And that's an image I can't get out of my head, so it's kind of confused my what I was going to say. It's hard to get that image out of my head, the snowman and the hairdryer. But I try to say a few things anyway. One thing that I see come through, and I like that weaving connections is the theme for the next conference, because what we've seen here, I think that there are lots of false distinctions or false opposites. Developing, north, south, school, community, formal, informing. That it's all blurring more, I think, in the way we talked. We think more and more in terms of connections rather than in segregation or separation. And this is also true for youth and elder in a way. What about the ancient wisdom of a child? Or the invigorating activism of an elder? This is all possible, and we should just create spaces, and that we talked, and Ingrid mentioned it, create spaces, learning spaces, where people can excel at what they're good at and what they are able to become. And also what is quite clear, that sustainability and environmental challenges are not things that we can tick in boxes. It's not about ticking boxes. It's actually sustainability and environment should make our hearts tick, which is something else. And passion, it's been mentioned. Mahesh spoke also about love. These kinds of things, and indeed the scientific way tends to marginalize intuition, passion, and those kinds of things, but they are so crucial. And there's another, in some ways, false separation. In my talk, at the beginning, I talked of let's learn together, let's become a little wiser in all this information that we are drowning in, and talked about disruption. It has been mentioned also in some of the questions that we need to move that piano, another cartoon of Judy's that I kind of remember. It's not about moving the stool. Sometimes we need to move the entire piano, or maybe change the direction of the train that we are all on. As David Orr also used that metaphor of a train going towards a ravine, and there are a few good people, because we can be much better, I think, sometimes ourselves at what we do, moving on the other direction, but on the same train. And disrupting that train, I'd like to repeat that theme, is crucial. We can do a lot. The handprints, we should expand. Kartakea referred to that as well. And if you can see what 1 week of practice can do, we just saw, then we must be able to do so much more. These young people here that were able to create this in 1 week. I hope that we created something together also in these 3 days. In the past 3 days, I've seen lots of relations being formed, lots of informal conversations. The way it was set up helped. The weather helped, of course. People sitting in the lawns, sitting on the terrace outside, sitting near the fountain, and that's where things happen. And I hope that next or 2 years from now, we will have that same kind of atmosphere in Vancouver that we were able to create here. And we, then I mean all of us, because without you as participants, this would, of course, not been the conference that it was. Let me end with a proverb that I used to use to close a youth conference. There was a question about youth meeting together. As we speak, the 23rd caretakers of the Environment Conference that I started long ago with some people finished in Portugal today. And when I was part of that, I used to end the conference with a proverb. I'm not sure where it came from, so I cannot reference it, but it was an ancient kind of wisdom that I think we should take at heart, that we should live our lives as if we might die tomorrow, but care for the earth as if we might live forever. And with that, I say goodbye Gothenburg and hello Vancouver. Thank you.
Well, And then I will say there's a lot of people, of course, who has been involved in the whole planning process and carried through of this World Education, Environment Education Conference. And I cannot mention all of them, but there are a couple of people I want to point out. First of all, Katarina Gårdfeldt, who is the head of the Center for Environment and Sustainability, who believed in this idea of bringing the conference to Gothenburg and has been a support all through the planning. And of course, Rebecka, who has done a great job. She has really been the person who has answered mail in the middle of the night. Almost, you always get an immediately answer from her if you ask about something. So she has really been the key person for the whole process. But I also want to, a lot of the earlier speakers have recognized the volunteers, and I will say they have been great. And what I think is so great is that they do come from different universities, from different institutions, and they have done everything from pointing out the room for people to making arrangement of the flowers. Mm-hmm. And of course, MCI have done a very great job. And of course, the interpreters, I think we should say thank you to. And last but not the least, we need to recognize two people who brought this conference to Gothenburg, and that is Johan Boman and Ulf Andersson, who did a great job in Marrakesh to convince people that it should be Gothenburg this time. So can you please come up, Ulf and Johan?
Thank you, Ulf. Thank you, Johan.
Well done, colleague.
And thanks to all of you for coming. And I have one wish for Vancouver, and there should be much more people from early childhood education. So see you there, all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ingrid. So I would just like to get the last word. So thank you, Ingrid and Arjen, also. And again, thank you, the volunteers. And especially a few people I would like to mention, Emma and Anna, who coordinated the seminar room volunteers. And of course, Laura and Josephine, who were interning with us. Sorry. And thank you. And the cards, please don't forget to put them in the baskets of the volunteers. And we have an evaluation form on the website. But thank you all for being here.
Okay. Thank you.